Good Saturday evening, Facebook and YouTube. How you doing? Guess what? I am Kendrick, the sports guy with TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportZhustle. And good Saturday evening to you. Yes, that's right. I am going live on Saturday. I decided to jump on and say, you know what? Let's do something live. Let's talk about conference championship Saturday. We're talking college football. This is the last weekend for conference championships. Looks like we're getting ready to see what this 14 playoff is going to look like. And we're going to have either some happy folks or some sad folks. And right now we got this Georgia-Alabama ACC championship game going down on CBS. And it is 17-10 right now in the third period. With Georgia with the ball now. And so it looked like this thing is going to go down to the wire. So we're going to talk a little bit about conference championships, talk about this Georgia-Alabama. But before we do that, make sure you come in, like, comment, share the broadcast to all your social media platforms. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channels. That is TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle. Again, that's SportZhustle. You can see that scrolling in the ticker below. Make sure you hit that, again, subscribe to those channels. Make sure you like. Make sure you come in and comment. Let's wrap a taste if you're available. Let's talk about the college football playoffs. What you think? What's going on? We had some games already. We had the Pac-12 championship game that went down on Friday night. We've already had the Big 12 championship game that went down earlier this morning. That's already in the books. We're going to talk about that. But again, make sure you comment. We can chat a little bit. And just like the pastor say on Sunday morning, I won't be here before you very long unless you don't talk back to me. So again, I hope everybody's having a great start to your weekend. And it is December 2nd. Man, we only have roughly 29 days left in the year 2023, and you have 23 days to get your Christmas shopping going, all that good stuff. So if you haven't jumped on that, you better get ready. You better get on the ball because you don't have much time left. So again, let's go ahead and jump in this. Make sure, again, you come in, like, and comment. If you want to join the show, I actually put the link in the comments. That would be cool if you want to come in and we can chat a taste. But let's go ahead. Let's talk about college football playoffs. First of all, the rankings. These are the current rankings right now, as you see them scrolling at the bottom of the screen and the ticker. Obviously, we got number 1 Georgia and number 8 Alabama right now is going down in the SEC championship. Georgia is 12-0. Alabama is 11-1. We all know that their one loss is to who? Those Texas Longhorns. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Longhorns. They had their Big 12 championship at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas earlier today, and they got the big win over the Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Longhorns win the Big 12 championship. They exit the Big 12 with the Big 12 championship. What a fitting way to leave the conference. They got the victory 49-21. This was their first Big 12 championship since 2009. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers put on the show, especially the first half. He was 35 for 46, 452 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Longhorns also had 2 receivers over 100 yards rushing, but they did have some bad news. Their Mr. Everything explosive wide receiver Xavier Worthy, he would exit the game in the second half. He ended up he was tackled and his ankle got rolled. It looked like his ankle got rolled up on, and he would not return. He will come back on the sideline in a walking boot with crutches. So don't know the extent of his injury right now. But again, Texas Longhorn explosive wide receiver Xavier Worthy, he did get injured, and so don't know what his availability will be for their bowl game, or if they get some help and end up in this college football playoffs. As you can see right now, number 1 is Georgia, number 2 is Michigan, number 3 is Washington. Again, Washington won the Pac-12 on Friday night, 34-31 over Oregon. And Texas needs a little help. And Florida State is number 4 right now. Florida State will play Louisville for the ACC championship tonight. I believe that's at 7 p.m. Also, we got Michigan and Iowa playing tonight as well. So if those 2 teams lose, that definitely would open up that would open it up definitely for Texas and Alabama, even if Alabama were to lose. Now, I don't see Michigan losing to Iowa. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, Florida State and Louisville, that could get a little dicey because Florida State lost their starting quarterback to an injury a few weeks ago. Then his replacement, from what I was reading, he's doubtful for tonight. So they may be playing a freshman quarterback, Florida State, that is, versus Louisville tonight in the ACC championship. So that doesn't bode well for them. But this could be the young fellas waking up party. So we'll see what happens. So again, we already got two conference championships in the books. As far as when it comes to the college football playoff, the Pac-12, they played last night. Washington got the big win over Oregon, 34-31, and also earlier today, the Longhorns beat the Oklahoma State Cowboys at AT&T in Arlington, 49-21. So Texas is looking for some help. Alabama can help themselves if they beat Georgia, because most likely if they beat them, again, they're ahead 17-10, that would jump them into that Final Four. And if Washington has already won, so they Washington could move up to the 2 if Michigan loses, which I don't think so. But if Michigan wins, they're going to move up to 1. Georgia would drop probably to would drop out if Florida State wins, because they will win the ACC. So it's still a lot of things on there. But the thing we do know is the Texas Longhorns, they need, and if Alabama loses, that pretty much, I think, puts them out, because Texas beat them in the head-to-head back in September and beat them pretty handily in Tuscaloosa as well. So Texas is really rooting for Alabama to win this game tonight, because most likely, if that happens, somehow, some way, Texas could have an outside shot of getting into this college football playoff. So now, again, we won't even have to worry about this next season, because it would be a 12-team playoff. So it's not going to be if you get in. It's going to be about seeding and buys and who gets the home game and all that stuff next season. So again, college football playoffs will be expanding to a 12-team playoff next season. So this will be the last time we will see this. So again, we only have like 48 seconds left in the third. Again, Alabama tacked on a field goal, so they're up 20-10 on Georgia right now. Again, Georgia does have the ball in their own territory with 48 seconds left in the third period. So I'd like to know what you guys think. You watch this replay later. Want to get your thoughts on the college football playoff. Are you glad that it's expanding, where we don't have all this what ifs? We won't have to worry about this next season, because the best 12 teams, or at least we think the best 12 teams, will be in the college football playoffs. So let's move on to the pro level. We're going to do a quick little preview of the Sunday NFL Week 13 games. We got that coming up tomorrow. The Week 13 already started off on Thursday with the Dallas Cowboys playing at AT&T. They finally played against a team with a winning record. That's been one of the biggest things I've been reading and people crying about on social media and everywhere you go. Well, winner the Cowboys, they wins are kind of empty. They ain't played nobody with a winning record. At the end of the day, you just play who's on your schedule, and you beat the ones you're supposed to beat. Now, they had some hiccups, obviously. They shouldn't have lost to a 2-10 now, I believe, Arizona Cardinals, but they did. They lost to a good team, the Eagles, and they lost to the 49ers. So they've only had one loss that was bad. Technically, their 2 losses they shouldn't have lost to. So that's all good. So, but again, they got the win 41-35 over the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday night. Dak Prescott was 29 for 41 for 299 yards. He had 3 touchdowns and 0 INTs. CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver for the Cowboys, 12 receptions, 116 yards, 1 touchdown. The Cowboys had 136 yards rushing. They did win a 14th straight consecutive home game, which is they don't lose at home. But the defense, boy, they gave up a little bit. The Seahawks were able to throw on them. Deron Bland got burnt a few times by DK Metcalf, but that's okay. Cornerbacks get beat sometime. Everybody isn't Deion Sanders. Everybody isn't Mike Haynes and the Lester Hayes. I'm going back in the day, and the Darrell Reeveses and all them, the Charles Woodsons. Sometimes cornerbacks, you're gonna get beat in this game. So especially when you're talking about he's a 5th-round pick from last season. So this is his 2nd year, but DK Metcalf put it on them. They were able to throw a little bit on the Cowboys. So they were exposed a little bit defensively, but they bent but didn't break. They got a couple of 4th down stops. That was very important. As you see me drinking out my Green Bay mug. And we're going to speak about Green Bay because they got a big game coming up Sunday night. So again, Thursday, the Cowboys did get the big win 9. They're 9-3 now, and they got that big one coming up Sunday night at home against their NFC East rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're probably looking for some help because guess what? Let's talk about the marquee game of tomorrow, the rematch of the NFC Conference Championship game from back this last January. We got the 8-3 49ers at the 10-1 Eagles. That is the 3:25 p.m. game, and all eyes are going to be on that. The Niners back in January, they did lose 31-7 in the NFC Championship game to the Eagles. They also lost their starting quarterback Brock Purdy early to an injury. So they really didn't have a quarterback on the roster, so they were playing shorthanded. So now the Niners are looking for revenge going into this game. Now the Eagles defense, the Eagles are 10-1. I wouldn't say they are an impressive 10-1. They've done what they're supposed to do, but have they been impressive? I wouldn't say so. That one loss was to, guess what? A New York Jets team. So back to those, any given Sunday, any team can be beat. But the Eagles defense right now, they're ranked 29th versus the pass, and they have given up 23 passing TDs, and that is the second most in the NFL. So the Niners are going to look to exploit that secondary, the back end of that Eagles defense. Now, the Eagles deal only allowing 85.3 rushing yards per game, and that is 3rd best in the NFL. So you can't run on them, but you can throw that rock around the field on the Eagles defense. So we'll see. And Jalen Hurts, the MVP talk is loud and is getting louder now. And a lot of people aren't talking about Jalen Hurts, but he's having a steady season. Would I say it is an outstanding one? No, but he's doing what he needs to do to lead that team to victories, and that all that matters. So the offense is going to be okay, I think. I think defensively the Eagles are a little bit banged up, especially again on that back end, and the Niners now are healthy. Yeah, they had a 3-game losing streak. Teams go through these up and down, but look like they have the ship has been righted and they on the right path. And I think they're gonna go in here, man. And this is gonna be, I picked the Niners to win this game. I picked the Niners to go in and beat the Eagles. And the Eagles, then they got. Hopefully the Eagles ain't looking forward to the Cowboys, because they definitely, these two teams right now to me are the best in the NFC. The Niners, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Lions. Those to me are the 4 best teams in the NFC in that order. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see if the Niners are ready to take that next step. They're going to win their division, hands down. Seattle lost again Thursday night. That dropped them to 6-6. And the Niners are already 8-3, and they've already beaten the Seahawks once. So I believe they're going to wrap up this NFC West as long as they stay healthy. So that is going to be the marquee game on Sunday. As you look here, as you're scrolling on the bottom of your screen, the noon games, we got a whole bunch of those coming up. We got the Chargers at the Patriots, Colts at the Titans, the Saints at the Falcons, the Lions at the Saints, the Falcons at the Jets, the Cardinals at the Steelers, the Dolphins at the Commanders, and the Broncos at the Texans. And the Texans also a heartbreaker to the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. But C.J. Stroud is doing what he's doing. And, I mean, that young fella, man, he got to be in the talk for MVP. Definitely is going to run away with the NFL Rookie Offensive Player of the Year. He's going to run away with that. Now, the 3:05 p.m. kickoffs, we got the Panthers 1-11, who fired their head coach Frank Reich this week. He's the first coach in NFL history to be fired by 2 teams before the regular season was over. So they got rid of Frank Reich. Panthers are at the Buccaneers. That's 3:05 p.m. kickoff. And again, the 3:25 p.m. kickoffs, we got the Browns at the Rams, which I read Joe Flacco. They signed him this week, and he's going to start. And then, again, we got the marquee game, the big game, the Niners at the Eagles. All eyes going to be on them like Tupac. Then the Sunday night game, again, we got those Kansas City Chiefs headed to Lambeau, take on my Green Bay Packers. And again, I'm not expecting a whole lot, and I'm glad I feel that way, because I didn't think that my Packers will win at Detroit on Thanksgiving. And Jordan Love looked really comfortable. He's looking really comfortable in the offense. Can we keep that up? Now, my Packers got a lot of injuries. I went and looked on the list, and there are 9 players on the injured list. We already know running back Aaron Jones is out. He won't play. Cornerback Eric Stokes, he's doubtful. Safety Darnell Savage is questionable. Cornerback Jair Alexander is questionable. Linebacker Devondre Campbell is questionable. All these questionable guys coming Sunday night. So we're going to see what happens with that. I'm getting some spam. What am I getting? I'm getting some spam. Yeah, don't you hate that? Let me delete this comment. Getting some spam from a comment. That's the only thing sometimes you hate about this. Let me get that out of the comment section. So again, my Packers, they're a little bit banged up. Again, with 9 players on the injured list. As far as the Chiefs, they're pretty healthy. I think they only have one. Their running back, is it Kendrick? I think he's the only one that is that I saw on the injured list. But besides that, outside of that, everybody else is healthy. So again, that's the Sunday night game. Kansas City Chiefs at my Green Bay Packers, who, by the way, we got that big win over the Lions. Now the Chiefs are looking to try to see if they can look like the Chiefs are old, especially offensively. Defensively, the Chiefs are on point. But offensively, they just haven't looked like themselves. But, we're going to try to keep it that way come Sunday night. Now, I read today that this is the first time since he's been in the league that quarterback Patrick Mahomes has played at Lambeau. This will be his first game at Lambeau. Didn't know that. So again, Chiefs at the Packers. That's the Sunday night game. Then the Monday night game, I believe we had the Bengals at the Jaguars. So that's a big AFC matchup right there. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this coming week 13. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We only got about 4 weeks left in the NFL season. So we're getting down to some big ones. I'd like to know your thoughts on the last games coming up. I was looking at some of the remaining games, some of the on the schedule, especially for the Cowboys. Again, they got the Eagles. They got a tough stretch coming up. They got the Eagles. They got the Dolphins. I think after the Eagles, they go to the Bills. Then they got the Dolphins, and then I forgot who they got at home. Then they end at home with the Lions. So again, this 3-game stretch the Cowboys got, again, they have the Eagles at home. I think go to the Bills. I think they go to the Dolphins. Oh yeah, and then they end with the Lions at home. So that's a tough 4-game stretch for them. So we're gonna see what happens with that. So again, that's the NFL Week 13 preview. I'd like to know who you got, who's your team, what's your expectations. You replayed it, you watch this later. Make sure you leave that in the comments. And I'm gonna come back and we're gonna respond to that. Now, let's move on to one of the bigger stories that happened this week. We had the arrest. Speaking of Buffalo Bills, we had the arrest of All-Pro linebacker, Super Bowl champ Von Miller. Now, this incident actually happened on Wednesday, and according to our reports, that Von Miller had assaulted his pregnant girlfriend. According to what the information that we had, that he was upset. They were discussing travel plans. He was at their place. I'm assuming that they cohabitate together in Dallas. The reason he was in Dallas, the Buffalo Bills were on a bye last week. They were discussing travel plans according to the arrest warrant affidavit that was obtained by the Dallas Morning News. Von Miller became upset, I guess, with something that his girlfriend said, and it became a physical altercation. He broke her laptop. He yelled he placed his hand on her throat, didn't choke her, whatever, did that, and then left the scene before police got there. Now, I read an update on this story on today. Now, according to his girlfriend, that all this was blown out of proportion and no one was assaulted. Well, Von Miller was actually booked in to custody, and it's a third-degree felony on the rest of the charges of assaulting his pregnant girlfriend. So again, the girlfriend is downplaying it, but these are serious charges. Not only for Von Miller legally with the NFL because of their domestic violence new rules and procedures that's in place because of the horrible incident that happened some years back with former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice when he punched his then fiance in the face on the elevator, and that video was released, and then that was when all hell broke loose because the NFL did not handle that accordingly, and unfortunately, they took a black eye for that one. So they really take these things seriously when you talk about domestic violence, regardless of what his ex-girlfriend is saying that is downplaying it. Von Miller could possibly be looking at a suspension if once this investigation is done. So you hate to see these things, you hate to see this happen, but this is reality. This is real world we deal with on a daily basis. Domestic violence is a serious issue that we deal with on a daily basis. So again, I hope this is whatever this is settled and it ends up on the good side. But again, this is the wrong thing. This is the thing that you don't want to make the news as a man. You don't want to make the news as being accused of domestic violence or rape or any type of messing with a child or an underage child. And speaking of that, we're gonna shift to another player that's dealing with those allegations as well. But before we do, again, if you didn't know, linebacker, Bills Pro Bowl linebacker Von Miller again was arrested in Dallas on Thursday, and he was charged with a third-degree felony of assaulting his pregnant girlfriend. Again, the arrest affidavit had all the details in it. Long story short, he seemed to be upset about something between them two about travel arrangements. Yeah, that happened. He broke her laptop. He grabbed her by the neck, this and that. She didn't have any. She didn't go to the hospital. There wasn't any visible bruises or anything like that on her. WFAA would contact her, and she would basically say that no one was assaulted in this situation, and she downplayed the whole incident. So again, we hope this works out for both parties. But again, the NFL is going to look closely at this, and most of the time they give out 6-game suspensions for this. Now, there's only basically 4 games left in the regular season, so if they decide to do this, this may either impact if the Bills make the playoffs, would it be available, or will they hold that suspension over and institute it at the beginning of the regular season? But we won't know until this whole investigation is complete. Okay, so an update on the Alabama-Georgia game. Georgia just scored a touchdown. They're kicking the PAT with 10:16 left in the fourth period. Again, Georgia is number 1 in the college football playoff rankings. They are now only down 3 to the Alabama Crimson Tide at 20-17. Again, 10:16 left in the fourth quarter of the SEC championship. So we're going to see what happens there. So now let's move on to another player that actually his situation has been kind of downplayed more so than any other situation that I have ran into when it comes to the media jumping on any type of domestic abuse or inappropriate contact with women. Josh Giddy with the Oklahoma City Thunder. He has, and I followed this story closely. It broke last. I think it broke on Thanksgiving. He has been investigated by Newport Beach Police Department, and the NBA has launched its own investigation into an inappropriate relationship that he is alleged to have had with a minor. Now, I got an update on this story right before I came on. Now, and from the New York Post. Now, according to the New York Post, there were some pictures that were circulating on social media with him and this young lady at a Oklahoma City nightclub. And according to the New York Post again, that those pictures are old. When I say old, like 2 years old. At the time, he was 19. And according to the report, this Oklahoma City nightclub allegedly allows people 18 and younger in. Now, again, according to this report, the young lady misrepresented her age and told him that she was 18. Now, there are other reports out there that saying she was 16. Now, she's from California. If you're wondering why Newport Beach PD is investigating, because she's from California and her parents have been non-cooperative with, according to reports, with law enforcement. But I also read today that they have hired high-profile attorney Gloria Allred to represent them. Now, if you don't know who Gloria Allred is, she represents a lot of women when we're talking about domestic violence cases. We're talking about sexual assault cases. We're talking about high profile. She's the one that they call. So, according to this news report, that the parents of this young lady has hired her to be their representation. Now, Josh Giddey, he has not said one thing. He has not made a comment. But according to this report, once he found out, he cut off all communication with this woman the next day after he met her. He met her in the nightclub one night. Then, according to reports, he cut off his all communication, all whatever, with her the next day. That's interesting. If to cut it off the next day, something had to be awry. That's just me thinking. I don't know. But again, he was 19 at the time. So this is going, it's a lot. It's some more details to this. We don't know what's going out, but the YouTube opinionists, the sports opinionists on YouTube that do this stuff, they were going hard at ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews, because they were being pretty tight-lipped, wouldn't really report on this. They will finally report on this come a couple of days ago, and they gave their take on it, and it was pretty much vanilla, But but they were really quick to go hard at Kevin Porter Jr., the former Houston Rockets, who was accused of domestic violence against his ex-girlfriend in a New York City hotel. And then she would come back a couple of weeks later and said that a lot of the stuff the DA had in the arrest warrant didn't happen. So there hasn't been any retraction. Nobody responded to that. We all know how Malika Andrews get down. She ain't got a problem going after black men when it comes to stuff. She went hard at Ime Udoka, and his was consensual. Talking about protecting women, she went hard at him. She went hard at Brandon Miller, the draft choice by the Charlotte Hornets out of Arkansas, when she would ask him about wouldn't ask him, would report on, the situation that happened with him actually giving his friend a gun, and he didn't go with his friend, that was used in the murder of a young lady in Alabama. Yeah, so she went hard at Brandon Miller. She don't have a problem going hard at black men, but she was pretty vanilla on this one. And so a lot of people were unhappy with the way Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews handled this Josh Giddey story. And I can see their point. I think it's all about fairness. If you're going to go hard, and again, we don't know all the details. All this is alleged right now. But even with the Kevin Porter stuff, even with the Ime Udoka stuff, even with the Brandon Miller stuff, There was a lot of stuff that wasn't known at that time, but they didn't have a problem going hard then, especially Malika Andrews. Again, she's known to go hard at black men for some reason. Don't know why. But we're going to stay on top of this Josh Giddey story. Again, the new details on today is that those pictures that were circulating with him with that young lady, those pictures were 2 years ago. He was 19, according to the report, at an Oklahoma City nightclub. The young lady, according to Miss Ripper, said that she was 18. Some saying we don't really know how old this young lady is. Some saying she was 16. And this club is supposedly known for allowing people 18 to get in. So it's just a lot of stuff. NBA is investigating, but the kicker is Josh Giddey has been able to play. He hasn't been suspended. So he's still allowed to play because he hasn't been accused. He hasn't been, nothing. He's not been charged. So I get it. I get it. So, we'll see what happens. So, but again, to the national media, if you're going to report stuff, be fair. Report it straight down the middle, no matter the race. Let's be fair about it. Let's report the facts. And if you're going to go hard at everybody, not just people that look like me. Malika Andrews, that was for you. I know she'll never see this, but I had to throw that in there. So let me give y'all an update again on the SEC championship game. Alabama has the ball. They are up 20-17. Look like they're driving right now with 7 minutes and 2 seconds left in the fourth period. Yes, they are driving. They are inside the Georgia Bulldogs 20-yard line. And looks like they may get a score out of here unless there is some sort of turnover. They just got in. Alabama just scored. Milroe just threw a touchdown pass to Bond. That just makes it 26-17. And I know the Texas Longhorns are rooting. I know they probably watching this game wherever. They probably still celebrating. I know they still celebrating their Big 12 championship. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think he got in. They're going to review this. Looks like he came up short of the goal line. Yeah, I think his elbow was already down, but they probably going to score. They're going to review. It's under review, but looks like Alabama right now with 6 minutes and 40 seconds left. They're up 26-17, but they're doing a official review of the touchdown. And from my vantage point, it looks like his elbow was already down before he crossed over the goal line. So we're going to get to our last story, and we're going to get out of here. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channels. That's TFG Sports Media, and that's Kendrick Sports Hustle. That's SportZHustle. Make sure you like and subscribe to those on YouTube, and make sure you like and follow TFG Sports Media here on Facebook, and make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook as well. Well, we're gonna get out of here with our last story. Miss Toria just jumping in. Hi, Miss Toria. Just got back in the day. They were giving fake IDs on like candy. It's just been so much of this stuff lately. You do not know who telling the truth. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Miss Toya, always thank you for joining me. I'm giving us updates on this SEC championship game. And again, the Texas Longhorns, I know they are rooting for the Alabama Crimson Tide, because if they beat Georgia and win this SEC championship, that gives the Longhorns a small window to get in this thing. They could sneak in here. I think they need a little more help, but they could sneak in this college football playoff if this happens. So again, let's get down to our last story. Got to give it up to my guy, Coach Prime. You either like him or you love him, one of the two. Coach Prime is kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. I've noticed over the last probably 6 to 8 months, almost a year now. And I read, and I'm in quite a few sports groups on social media, and I read a lot. I don't do a lot of commenting in them. I do read a lot just to get the temperature of what people thinking. And man, it's a lot of people, man, for some reason, They just think they don't. I don't know why they don't like Coach Prime. I don't get it. When you really look outside of him as a athlete, as a coach, if you really look at the big picture, him as a father to his children, you got to be like, yo, that because I was thinking about this today. I was watching the game. A commercial came on. Commercial came on with Shador Sanders and Shiloh. I think it's a Google commercial. I'm like, he is setting his children up for success, for generational wealth, for their own brand. Think about it. His oldest son, Deion Jr., he's he runs his social media and all that. Obviously his two sons, Shiloh and Shador, play football. His youngest daughter, who he calls Bossy, I cannot ever say her name right. She plays basketball for Colorado. And his oldest daughter, Deandra, I don't. She does a whole lot of different things, but she's part of the family business, if you so will. So I'm like, what can you not like about that? And then I mean, the young men that he's mentored, that he's taken under his wing, that he treats as his own. How can you not like about that? But if you did know, Coach Prime was named Sports Illustrated Sports Person of the Year on Thursday. You know, even though the Buffaloes finished 4-8, you got to look at the totality and the big picture. No one expected Colorado to do much this season, unless I mean, if you unless you just was a bandwagoner. If you was a true football person, you knew it was going to take some time. You knew he wasn't going to come in his first year and just go gangbusters, especially when he had all those transfer portals and players leaving and all that, and just trying to build a team, trying to build a culture. Because let's be honest, Colorado hasn't been a fixture on the college football scene. Woo, I'm talking probably mid '90s. It's been a minute since they've been, and they only won one game last season. So, I know they got off to the great start, the 3-0, but I was sitting back pumping my brakes. I was like, wait a minute, this is great, but it's a long season. And then they hit a couple of road bumps, and again, they ended up 4-8. I thought they would win at least 5 games and be bowl eligible. They won 4. There's a couple of those games that they should have won. Stanford game, they should have won. They just didn't take care of their business. But Coach Prime, Sports Person of the Year, I definitely shout out and congratulations. Again, a lot of times I've learned something. When everybody loves what you do, you ain't doing something right. When everybody is cheerleading for you, you ain't doing something right. But believe me, Coach Prime got a lot of people that don't like him, and that's okay. And I'm sure he doesn't lose any sleep over it. But I truly believe on the outside looking in that he cares for those young men, and he's building young men with good character, and he's gonna build a program there. Now, I ain't gonna say he's gonna stay there, because when you got that type of personality and he's a winner and a believer, because he's been a winner everywhere he's been, even as an athlete. So it ain't like losing ain't in his DNA. So once he built this thing up, you best believe it's gonna be some people coming to knock, and it's gonna be hard for Colorado to keep him. And speaking of which, I got some numbers from a veteran sports writer. I think his name is Pat Ford. He did a feature piece on Coach Prime and just talk about the impact that he had to the city of Boulder, Colorado. They sold out every home game at Folsom Field, I believe it's called. The first time in school history that every home game was sold out in Colorado football history. The enrollment has increased for different ethnic groups. As far as African Americans, I think the enrollment applications is up 80% and across the board. Also, merchandise sales from September of this year compared to last year is up like 2,500% merchandise sales. So not only has the impact that he's had, obviously that wasn't a great season, but I mean it was a turnaround. Miss Toria says they just hating on that man for no reason. I have asked several people on social media, why do you hate the man? Nobody can give me a good reason. They just hating on him, but he is winning in life. I couldn't agree with you more, Miss Toria. But again, like I said, Miss Toria, if everybody loves you, then you're not doing something right. That's so believe me, Coach Prime, he knows he has his naysayers, even those that said that he shouldn't have been named. A lot of the people in the media don't. Sports writers, you know, some people thought that he shouldn't even been named Sports Person of the Year. But I'm trying to think who could it have been outside of him. That's the question. When you think about this past year, who could it have been? This is the second time on Sports Illustrated cover in about a year and a half. If you recall, back at Jackson State, he and Shadur and his prize recruit, Travis Hunter, they made the Sports Illustrated cover. I want to say that was the summer of last year when they made that. So, again, I just want to give a shout out to Coach Prime. Well deserved. Again, I know it's a work in progress there at Colorado, but I think he's going to build something there. Again, he's got the enthusiasm. He's got all the right things in place. And they talk about players decommitting from there, this and that, yada yada yada. That's nothing new. Players decommit from college. Players decommit from college universities all the time. Matter of fact, just had a young man that I interviewed, talked to on the show. We did a show. Derek McFall. He goes to the local high school here in Tyler, Texas, Tyler High School. He had originally committed to go to UCLA. We talked about that back in August, I want to say. Then I just read a couple of weeks ago, he's decided to decommit from UCLA and he's going to stay in Texas and go to SMU. So see what I'm saying? Kids do that, athletes do that all the time. So everybody want to write all these articles making a big deal. Oh, Coach Prime has lost like 4 prize recruits in the last week. Man, these college players decommit all the time. It's nothing new. But that's just another thing to kind of point fingers at Prime and say, see, we told you. So I don't know. Again, I could be critical, Coach. I'm going to be critical of his football stuff. Now, not him as a man. I'm not talking about him as a man. I'm talking about his football stuff. Now, I'm going to be critical of him if there's some things to be needed. Obviously, we know there's some needs there. He got to bulk up that offensive line. They got to get a defensive line, and they got to get a run game. They got to get some protection for Shadur because he was getting killed. So, and he knows that. I ain't got to tell Coach Prime that. He already knows what he needs, and he's going to work on that. So right now, again, just an update on the SEC championship game. Georgia 17, Alabama 27. 4 minutes left in the fourth. It looks like Georgia is driving. They got to. They are inside the Alabama's 10-yard line looking to try to score. And this game is probably going to go down to the wire. Again, 27-17. Alabama is up right now. Georgia is looking to go in for the score. And he almost got there. They probably going to score. And this game is going to go down to the wires. This is going to be one of the this is going to go down for the record books, I guess, for the SEC championship. So we're going to see what happens with that. So again, this was TFG Sports Media. I decided to do Saturday Sports Chat. I normally come on Sunday mornings, but I think if I do some Sunday morning, it'll probably just be something quick, like a cut-in or something. I'm just going to try to take it easy. But I did want to talk about the college football playoffs since today we had all of the conference championships going on. Again, tonight we still got 2. We got the Big Ten championship. We got Michigan and Iowa. That jumps off, I believe, at 7 o'clock. And we also got the ACC championship game, Florida and Louisville going down. Those are the last 2 left. And again, it's 4th and goal for Georgia. And this is going to be the ball game. Oh, he didn't get in on 3rd and goal. This is going to be the ball game. If Alabama holds them there, this is going to be the ball game. They taking the time out. Miss Toria said, let me before I get out of here. Miss Toria said, we need more men out there like him. These young men coming up need a coach, Prime in their life. Maybe if more kids had someone like him, would not be so much violence in the country. I agree, Miss Toria. We do need a lot more father figures. And even if that, it ain't about them being your blood, your biological children. We just need more mentors. I can live my truth. I was raised by, me and my brother, we were raised by a single woman. I didn't really have any mentors. We was raised in the church. and all that. But my mother was single, was never married. So we didn't have any, my brother and I didn't have any father figures. We had a praying mother that, by the grace of God, she got us out of a situation that probably could have been different if we were older, if we would have stayed where we were. No telling where we would have been. So we definitely need more mentors for our young men, especially men of color, you know. And so I agree, Miss Tori. And this is the ball game right here. 4th and goal. Georgia under the snap. And touchdown, Georgia gets in on 4th and goal with 2:52 left. They're gonna kick the PAT. They're gonna make it a 3-point ball game. So there you have it. This SEC championship game is gonna be a good one. So again, thank you, Miss Toya, for dropping in. Thank you for watching this. Those that watch this later, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe again to TFG Sports Media and Kendrick Sports Hustle, SportZHustle. Make sure you like and follow Kendrick Sports Hustle on Facebook and TFG Sports Media on Facebook. And you follow my personal Facebook page, Kendrick Roland Henderson. I post a lot of my sports stuff and music stuff too, because I love music. I'm at 3,100 followers on there. Give me some more followers there. You can also follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51. I'm at 1,000 followers on there. I'm going to start doing some live cut-ins on TikTok. And also follow me on Instagram at Kendrick1969. So follow me all over the place. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channels. Again, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. And enjoy your NFL Sunday. Tomorrow, again, big game. 325 Niners at the Eagles, rematch of the NFC Championship game. I got the Niners getting the victory. Sunday night game, we got the Chiefs at my Packers. I'm going with my Packers with the upset. Packers with the upset over the Chiefs at Lambeau. You heard it here first with my Green Bay Cup. We got it. We're going to beat Patrick Mahomes, who, by the way, again, he's making his first appearance at Lambeau Field in his NFL career. So again, Miss Toria, thank you for joining me. Again, I probably will do a cut in or drop in sometime tomorrow, and I probably may do a little cut in on my personal Facebook page maybe later on tonight to just talk about different stuff, not necessarily sports. So again, you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We will see you on the other side, and on the next report, I am out. Peace.